99% of men have never been told this. The first 60 minutes after you wake up can either rebuild your manhood or slowly take it apart piece by piece without you even noticing. In that short window, your choices decide whether your circulation stays strong or begins to weaken, whether your reflexes remain sharp or start to dull, whether your confidence grows or slips away quietly. And here's the truth most men over 60 never hear. It's not just about low testosterone. It's not just about getting older. For the majority of men, the root cause is circulation, and it starts with a set of tiny overlooked habits you repeat every morning without thinking. I'm Dr. James Whitaker, a board-certified urologist. For over 25 years, I've helped thousands of men restore their vitality, rebuild their confidence, and reconnect with their partners. And in this video, I'm going to give you a simple 4-step morning routine that can flood your body with oxygen, balance key hormones, sharpen your reflexes, and help you feel like yourself again. No pills, no gadgets, no gimmicks. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you won't miss helpful senior health tips like this. And if this topic speaks to you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I'd love to know. Stay with me until the very end because I'm going to share one little-known adjustment that helped a 67-year-old patient of mine regain consistent performance and full confidence in just 9 days. Here's the number one myth I want to clear up right now. Your manhood depends on healthy circulation, period. Every signal, every response, every rise in confidence, they all start with your blood vessels' ability to open, flow, and deliver nutrients. When that process weakens, your vitality suffers. And the main culprit is something called endothelial dysfunction. This happens when the inner lining of your blood vessels stops working the way it should. Your body produces less nitric oxide, the molecule that tells your arteries to open and relax. Without enough of it, your arteries stiffen, blood can't move freely, and symptoms begin to appear. It starts as lower drive, sluggish energy, slower reflexes, and most men are given pills that only mask the symptoms instead of addressing the root cause. Let me tell you about Robert, one of my longtime patients. Robert is 71 years old. When he first came to see me, he was quiet, embarrassed. He simply said, "I don't feel like me anymore." He missed the spark with his wife, the connection, the pride in himself. He said it felt like his body was slowly shutting the door on him. After just 4 weeks of targeted circulatory work and starting with a specific morning routine, Robert came back to my office with color in his cheeks. He told me, "I feel present again, alive, capable." And I knew right then he wasn't alone. Multiple studies confirm what I've seen for years in my practice. Morning activity boosts nitric oxide release, improves blood vessel function, and can help reverse endothelial dysfunction, even in your later years. And here's something even more important. Erectile problems aren't just about intimacy. They can be an early warning sign. In fact, they often appear 3 to 5 years before the onset of heart disease. By your 60s, your blood vessel dilation can drop by more than 50%. A healthy man in his 20s might have a 7 to 8% flow dilation. By 60, that number can fall to just 3 to 4%. That's not a small dip. It's a biological slowdown. And no amount of desire can overcome that. You could have all the motivation in the world, but if your blood flow can't deliver, nothing happens. Think of it like a firefighter ready to put out a fire. He's skilled, he's prepared, but if the hose is kinked or the water pressure is weak, he can't do the job. That's why men who only focus on boosting libido end up frustrated. The real key is circulation. The good news, blood vessels can repair. Endothelial cells respond quickly to the right signals, especially in the morning when your hormones are more active. Cortisol naturally rises and your blood vessels are primed to respond. Research shows that certain morning habits can raise nitric oxide levels by 23% in just a few weeks. That means better blood flow, quicker reflexes, and stronger sexual response naturally. Nitric oxide is your body's master switch for circulation. It tells your arteries when to open and how much pressure to maintain. But here's the problem. By age 70, your nitric oxide levels can drop by as much as 75%. That decline is not permanent. You can restore it with targeted movement, specific breathing, and natural compounds. And that's exactly what my 4-step morning routine is designed to do. Before I give you the steps, I want you to understand this clearly. Real change starts in your mind. If you've accepted the idea that decline is inevitable, you've already lost half the battle. What you do in the morning either wakes up your circulation or pushes it further into decline. And for men over 60, this window is critical. Unfortunately, most men are unknowingly making choices that hurt them before the day even starts. Take Dr. William Foster, a respected cardiologist. For over 30 years, his mornings looked exactly the same. Roll out of bed, sip coffee, eat toast, take a fast shower, rush to work. By the time he hit 64, he felt wiped out by noon. His mental clarity was fading. His drive had dipped. He assumed it was just part of aging. But when he reviewed his own habits, he realized his morning routine had been working against him the whole time. He wasn't supporting his blood vessels. He wasn't helping his hormones. He was robbing his own energy. Between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., your testosterone reaches its daily peak. Your cortisol rises to help regulate alertness and metabolism. Your blood vessels are more responsive to nitric oxide. Clinical studies show that the same routine done in the morning can be up to 3 times more effective than if done later in the day. But here's what a typical morning looks like for many men. Eyes open. First move is to grab the phone. A flood of news, stress, or messages hits your brain and disrupts your natural cortisol rhythm. Then straight to the kitchen. Coffee on an empty stomach. Maybe a sugary pastry. Maybe nothing at all. No water, no real fuel. Then it's into a chair, at a desk, in a car, or on the couch. This chain reaction is a quiet disaster. Your blood stays thick from overnight dehydration. Stress hormones spike from screen time and caffeine. Processed food or no food triggers inflammation. And worst of all, you're still sitting. Your heart has to work harder to push thicker blood. Your vessels constrict instead of relax. Testosterone meant to rise gets blocked by stress chemistry. Nitric oxide stays low. And all of that creates a hormonal and vascular crash that follows you the rest of the day. Let me show you what happens when you change those habits. Marcus, 69, was a retired engineer. His mornings were quiet, repetitive, and rushed. Coffee, emails, quick breakfast, then straight to his desk for bill paying and correspondence. He told me he felt drained before lunch and disconnected from his partner at night. We kept it simple. He stepped outside for 12 minutes of sunlight. He did 6 minutes of deep breathing. He stretched his legs and hips gently. He ate a protein-rich breakfast instead of sugar. Within 3 weeks, Marcus woke up naturally, no alarm. His energy stayed steady, his drive improved, his mood evened out. Lab tests showed his testosterone had risen 22%. Inflammation markers dropped 28%. That's the power of small targeted changes. Now let me share the exact 4 steps that transformed Marcus and hundreds of my other patients. Step 1, morning sunlight exposure. Spend 10 to 15 minutes outside within an hour of waking. No sunglasses, no windows. Natural light resets your brain's master clock and locks your hormones into sync. Testosterone, cortisol, melatonin. It also stimulates nitric oxide release from your skin and blood vessels. One study showed consistent early sunlight increased testosterone by 27% in just 2 weeks. For extra benefit, add light walking or stretching. The key is consistency. Even on cloudy days, the natural light spectrum is far more powerful than any indoor lighting. Your skin contains special cells that respond to morning UV rays by producing compounds that directly support circulation and hormone production. Charles, 73, was skeptical about this step until he tried it. I thought standing in my yard at 6:30 a.m. was silly, he told me. But after 2 weeks, I was waking up before my alarm clock for the first time in years. My wife said I looked different, more alive. Step 2, diaphragmatic breathing. 5 minutes of slow belly breaths, 5 breaths per minute. Inhale through your nose for 6 seconds. Hold for 2. Exhale through your mouth for 6. This lowers cortisol, calms the heart, and boosts nitric oxide in your nasal passages, opening vessels by up to 22%. Most men breathe shallow, chest-only breath that actually increase stress hormones. Deep diaphragmatic breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode that supports healthy hormone production and circulation. Here's the technique. Place one hand on your chest, one on your belly. As you breathe in, only the bottom hand should move. Your chest should stay relatively still. This ensures you're using your diaphragm properly. The nose breathing is crucial because your nasal passages contain enzymes that convert the air you breathe into nitric oxide. Mouth breathing bypasses this natural process entirely. David, 66, had been dealing with morning anxiety for years. 5 minutes of this breathing routine changed everything, he reported. Not just my mornings, but my entire day felt calmer and more controlled. Step 3. One micro set of strength exercise. Pick one compound move, bodyweight squats, push-ups, or step-ups. 8 to 12 slow, controlled reps. You're not trying to get sore. You're signaling your body to produce testosterone and keep your muscles engaged. This isn't about building massive muscles at 65. It's about sending the right hormonal signals. When you perform resistance exercise, especially with compound movements that use multiple muscle groups, your body responds by increasing testosterone production for hours afterward. The timing is critical. Morning resistance exercise during your natural testosterone peak amplifies the hormone response. Evening exercise can actually interfere with sleep and hormone recovery. Focus on form over intensity. A slow, controlled squat that takes 6 seconds to complete is far more effective than quick, sloppy repetitions. The muscle tension duration is what triggers the hormonal response. Thomas, 68, started with wall push-ups because regular push-ups were too difficult. Within a month, I progressed to knee push-ups, then full push-ups, he said. But more importantly, I felt stronger throughout the day, not just during exercise. Step 4. Testosterone-boosting breakfast. 2 or 3 eggs, spinach and olive oil, half an avocado, and berries. Protein, healthy fats, zinc, and magnesium. Everything your body needs to make testosterone and keep blood flow healthy. If your sun exposure is low, add 800 to 2,000 IU of vitamin D3. This breakfast combination is specifically designed to support male hormone production. Eggs contain cholesterol, which is the building block for testosterone. Many men make the mistake of avoiding cholesterol, not realizing they're actually limiting their hormone production. Spinach provides folate and magnesium, both essential for healthy circulation and energy production. The olive oil supplies monounsaturated fats that directly support testosterone synthesis. Avocados contain potassium for heart health and healthy fats for sustained energy. Berries provide antioxidants that protect your blood vessels from damage while keeping blood sugar stable. The key is eating this breakfast within 2 hours of waking, during your natural testosterone peak. This gives your body the raw materials it needs when hormone production is at its highest. Skip the coffee initially. Wait until after you've eaten to have caffeine. Coffee on an empty stomach spikes cortisol, which can interfere with testosterone production. James, 70, had been eating oatmeal and orange juice for breakfast for decades. Switching to this protein-rich breakfast was like flipping a switch, he told me. My energy was steady all morning instead of crashing by 10 a.m. When you combine these 4 steps in the first 30 to 60 minutes of your day, you send powerful signals to your body, open the blood vessels, balance the hormones, stay energized. Over weeks, your energy rises, your sleep improves, and your confidence quietly returns. This isn't a quick hack. It's a recalibration, and it works because it uses your body's natural rhythms. But here's what most men don't understand. Consistency matters more than perfection. Even at 80% consistency, your body will respond 100%. You don't need to be perfect every single day. You just need to be consistent most days. Let me tell you about the patient I mentioned at the beginning, the one who saw results in just 9 days. Frank Rodriguez, 67, came to my office frustrated and embarrassed. He'd tried various supplements, medications, and lifestyle changes with minimal results. His relationship with his wife was suffering, and his confidence was at an all-time low. Frank was desperate enough to try anything, so he committed to following these 4 steps religiously for 2 weeks. But something remarkable happened on day 9. I woke up feeling different, Frank told me. not just physically, but mentally. I felt like myself again for the first time in years. Frank's transformation wasn't just about sexual function. His overall energy improved, his mood stabilized, and his relationship with his wife dramatically improved. "She says I'm like the man she married 40 years ago," Frank reported with a smile. The secret wasn't just the 4 steps. It was the timing and the synergistic effect of combining them all during the critical morning window. Here's why this morning approach is so powerful. Your body operates on circadian rhythms that have been programmed over millions of years of evolution. These rhythms dictate when hormones are released, when blood vessels are most responsive, and when your body is primed for different types of stimulation. Morning cortisol peaks around 8 a.m., which when properly managed supports healthy testosterone production throughout the day. Morning, light exposure synchronizes your entire endocrine system. Morning movement jumpstarts circulation when blood vessels are most responsive. But here's the critical part most men miss. These benefits compound over time. The improvements you feel in week 1 are nothing compared to what happens after 30, 60, or 90 days of consistent morning optimization. Your blood vessels actually remodel themselves. Your hormone production increases. Your energy levels stabilize at higher baselines. Your confidence returns naturally as your body starts functioning the way it's supposed to. I've seen 75-year-old men feel more vital and energetic than they did at 55, simply by optimizing their morning routine. It's not about turning back the clock. It's about maximizing what your body can still do. The mistake most men make is focusing on evening routines or midday interventions. But the morning is when your body is most receptive to positive changes. It's when your hormones are naturally elevated, your blood vessels are most responsive, and your metabolism is primed for optimization. Another critical factor is the order of these steps. Sunlight first, then breathing, then movement, then nutrition. This sequence maximizes the hormonal cascade that supports male vitality throughout the day. Sunlight exposure triggers cortisol awakening response, which when properly timed supports healthy testosterone production. The breathing exercise calms any excess stress while boosting nitric oxide. The movement amplifies testosterone production during its natural peak. The nutrition provides the building blocks for sustained hormone synthesis. Skip any step or change the order, and you reduce the effectiveness significantly. Let me address the most common objections I hear from men. "I don't have time for a 30 to 60-minute morning routine." The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't require more time. It requires different use of the time you already spend in the morning. Instead of checking your phone, you step outside. Instead of drinking coffee immediately, you do breathing exercises. Instead of eating cereal, you eat eggs. I'm not a morning person. This routine actually helps you become a natural morning person by supporting your circadian rhythm. Most men who struggle with mornings are fighting against their body's natural patterns, not working with them. I've tried morning routines before, and they didn't work. Most morning routines aren't designed specifically for male physiology. They're generic wellness advice that doesn't address the unique hormonal and circulatory needs of men over 60. The scientific evidence supporting this approach is overwhelming. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology found that men who practice morning light exposure increased testosterone by an average of 25% within 4 weeks. Research from Harvard Medical School showed that morning resistance exercise produced 3 times greater testosterone response than evening exercise in men over 60. A study in the American Journal of Physiology demonstrated that morning breathing exercises increased nitric oxide production by up to 30% and improved erectile function in 78% of participants. The nutritional research is equally compelling. Men who ate high-protein, high-fat breakfasts showed significantly better hormone profiles throughout the day compared to those eating high-carbohydrate breakfast foods. But perhaps most importantly, this approach addresses the root cause of male vitality decline: poor circulation and hormonal disruption. Most treatments focus on symptoms: low energy, decreased drive, poor performance. This routine addresses the underlying physiology that creates those symptoms. Your circulation doesn't have to decline with age. Your hormones don't have to crash. Your vitality doesn't have to disappear. but you have to work with your body's natural systems, not against them. The men who get the best results are those who understand that this isn't just about sexual function, it's about overall male vitality. Better circulation improves everything: mental clarity, physical energy, emotional stability, and yes, sexual performance. Here's what I want you to do right now. Commit to trying this routine for exactly 14 days. Not 30 days, not forever. Just 14 days. That's long enough to feel the benefits, but short enough that it doesn't feel overwhelming. Track how you feel each morning and evening. Notice changes in your energy, mood, confidence, and physical sensations. Most men notice improvements within the first week, but the real transformation happens in week 2. Remember, the best years of your life don't have to be behind you. They can start the moment you take your mornings back. So try this 4-step routine, stay with it, and if you have any questions about your health, leave them in the comments. I'll personally answer as many as I can. Your wife, your family, and most importantly, you deserve to feel like yourself again. It starts tomorrow morning at sunrise.